Last Friday, you worked 11 hours. Saturday, too. You checked your bank account Monday morning expecting to see the difference. You did not. The number barely moved. You have been picking up shifts, staying late, saying yes to every extra hour. And your savings account still sits at $300, the same $300 it was 2 months ago. Something is taking your overtime money, and it is not just taxes. By the end of this video, you will know exactly where it goes and how to actually keep it. Here is what most people believe. More hours means more money. More money means more savings. It sounds like basic math, but your paycheck does not work like basic math. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, over 27% of workers regularly work more than 40 hours a week. And a bank rate survey found that 56% of Americans still cannot cover a $1,000 emergency. Those two numbers should not exist together. If all those extra hours were turning into savings, the emergency fund crisis would not be this bad. The problem is not your work ethic. You are showing up. You are grinding. You are doing everything you were told to do. The problem is that overtime has hidden costs. Costs nobody warns you about. Every extra hour you work triggers a chain reaction. Your tax bracket shifts. Your commute costs increase. Your meals get more expensive. Your childcare bill grows. And your exhaustion leads to spending you would not normally do. The overtime check looks bigger on paper, but by the time life takes its cut, you are left wondering where it went. Your regular paycheck gets taxed at one rate, but overtime does not just stack on top. It gets taxed at whatever bracket those extra dollars push you into. Say you earn $55,000 a year at your base pay. That puts you in the 22% federal tax bracket. Now you add 10 hours of overtime every single week. At time and a half, that is roughly $14,300 extra per year. Every dollar of that overtime gets taxed at 22% federal, plus your state tax, plus Social Security, plus Medicare. Before you even see that money, roughly 30% to 35% is gone to taxes alone. On $14,300 of overtime, that means $4,300 to $5,000 disappears immediately. You worked those hours. You earned that money, but the government collected its share before your bank account did. And here is what makes it worse. Your payroll system does not know you only work overtime sometimes. It sees a bigger check and withholds taxes, as if you earn that amount every single pay period. So your take-home looks even smaller than it should. You might get some of that back at tax time, but that is months away. And by then, you have already adjusted your spending to the lower number. That refund does not feel like found money. It feels like money you already spent in your head 6 months ago. The tax bite is just the beginning. The real damage happens in the costs you do not track. Time to do the full math. Because nobody does this math for you. You earn $55,000 a year. Your hourly rate is about $26.50. At time and a half, your overtime rate is roughly $39.75 per hour. You work 10 extra hours every week. That is $397.50 per week in gross overtime pay. Over 52 weeks, that adds up to about $14,300 in extra gross income for the year. Now subtract taxes. At a combined federal, state, and payroll tax rate of about 33%, you lose roughly $4,700 right away. Your gross overtime of $14,300 becomes $9,600 in take-home. But you are not done. You drove to work 5 extra days worth of hours across those weeks. Extra gas, extra wear on your car. At $15 per day in commute costs, that is $3,900 a year. You are down to $5,700. Now food. When you work 10 or 11 hours, you are not going home to cook. You grab something on the way, an extra $8 to $12 per shift on meals you would not have bought otherwise. Call it $10 average, 5 days a week, 50 weeks. That is $2,500 in convenience food. You are now at $3,200. If you have kids, it gets worse. Extended childcare or after-school programs to cover those extra hours cost roughly $200 to $400 a month, depending on where you live. Call it $250 a month. That is another $3,000 a year. You are down to $200. $200 from $14,300. Let me say that differently. You worked 520 extra hours this year. You earned $14,300 in overtime. And after taxes, gas, food, and childcare, you kept $200. That is 38 cents per hour of actual saved money, less than the cost of a single stamp. That is why your savings account does not move. You are not bad with money. Your overtime is being eaten alive by the cost of working overtime. So if you are not keeping the money, who is? Start with your employer. They pay you time and a half, which sounds generous. But hiring a new employee costs them $4,000 to $7,000 in recruiting, training, and benefits setup. According to the Society for Human Resource Management, the average cost to hire a new worker is $4,700. Paying you overtime is cheaper than hiring someone new. Your exhaustion is their discount. Then, the gas stations and fast food chains. Every extra shift means another drive-through meal and another tank of gas. The convenience economy is built around people who do not have time. The less time you have, the more you pay for everything. Childcare providers benefit too. Extended hours programs exist because parents are working longer. The demand is not natural. It is created by a work culture that expects 50 hours as normal. And the tax system collects more from every overtime dollar than from your base pay. The government does not discourage overtime. They collect a higher percentage of it. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The entire ecosystem around you is designed to absorb extra income. Your landlord sees a bigger check and raises rent. Subscription services creep in when you feel like you deserve a reward. You work harder, earn more, and the system adjusts to take more. This is not a conspiracy. It is just how consumer economics works. The system does not reward you for working more. It charges you more for having less time. The biggest objection you will hear is this: just work more hours, grind harder. Hustle culture says the answer is always more effort. But you just saw the math. More effort without a system means more money going to everyone except you. The answer is not to stop working overtime. The answer is to protect the money before it disappears. Step 1. Automate the save. The day your paycheck hits, set up an automatic transfer for a specific dollar amount. Not a percentage, a fixed number, $75, $100, $150, whatever your overtime consistently adds. Move it to a separate savings account before you can spend it. If the money never sits in your checking account, it cannot leak out. Step 2. Pack the gap. The two biggest overtime leaks are food and gas. Meal prep on Sunday, just 2 or 3 meals you can grab during the week. That alone saves $8 to $12 per shift. Over a year of overtime, that is $2,000 to $2,500 back in your pocket. For gas, carpool 1 or 2 days a week if possible, or batch your errands so you are not driving extra. Step 3. Track it monthly, not in your head, on paper, or in a free app. Write down your overtime hours, your gross overtime pay, and your actual take-home from those hours. Then subtract what you spent to work those hours: gas, meals, childcare. When you see the real number, you make better decisions. You decide which overtime shifts are worth it and which ones cost you money to work. Knowledge is the shield. The grind without a system is just motion. The grind with a system, that is progress. 2 people, both earning $55,000, both working 10 hours of overtime every week, same job, same city, same paycheck. Person A does what most people do. She works the overtime, gets the bigger check, and spends normally. Gas on the way home, drive-through 3 times a week, extended daycare, a little online shopping because she is tired and she earned it. After a year, Person A has saved $200 from overtime. After 3 years, $600 total. She worked 1,560 extra hours over those 3 years. She earned $42,900 in gross overtime, and she kept $600 of it. Person B works the same overtime, same hours, same gross pay, but she sets up an automatic transfer of $100 every paycheck into a separate account. She meal preps on Sundays. She tracks her overtime costs every month. She figures out that Tuesday overtime shifts cost her almost as much in childcare as she earns, so she drops those and keeps the Saturday shifts. After 1 year, Person B has saved $4,200 from her overtime. After 3 years, $12,600. She put $7,800 of that into a high-yield savings account, earning 4.5% interest. That account alone grew to $8,400. Same job, same hours, same paycheck. Person A has $600. Person B has $12,600. The difference was never about working harder. They both worked hard. The difference was knowing where the money actually went and building a wall around it before it disappeared. You were never lazy. You were never bad with money. You were working harder than most people ever will, but nobody taught you to protect what you earned. Now you know. You know where the money goes. You know how to keep it. You are not someone who just works overtime anymore. You are someone who makes overtime actually count. This is not your fault. Nobody taught you this. But starting today, you know, and knowing changes everything.